likes close species? Okay, well, calm down. I know they're a contentious topic, but I had a real big close species phase from like 2018 to 2022, which only stopped when I basically ran out of money to buy commissions and free time to make art for fun. Yay! Adulthood! I've been collecting characters from a closed species called Darling Dainties for... Oh no, please don't tell me it's been 8 years. Oh my god, it has been. Oh no, the passage of time, no! Sorry, brain melted for a second. I'm good. But here's the thing about closed species. Commercial usage rights can get kind of dicey when you didn't design the character, which is super common in adoptable-based communities like Dainties. I want to make videos talking about my OCs because I adore them and I want to show them off to the world. And my channel isn't monetized yet, which means if there was ever a time to make videos about characters I can't use in a monetized video, it'd be now. Speaking of which, if you're watching this in the future and there are ads on the video, let me know because there shouldn't be. I'm not allowed. So get ready for a mega gauntlet of like 5 videos of OCs, like maybe once a month, probably less. I've been so busy for a while now. This is your one and only heads up. So like, what are Dainties? Dainties are a closed species made by bkomei, also known as bkomei adopts. They're satyrs with more human-like legs, really only deviating from human proportions at the ankle rather than at the knee. They grow stockings rather than fur, and they have non-human ears. Usually mammal, but there's a lot more options than that if you get the right items. They can also have wings or horns, or if you get a special type of make-your-own slot, any other traits you can think of. The universe I'm sharing with you all today is heavily inspired by official Dainty lore, which is... they're aliens! They're aliens that have invented space travel and have spread all over the universe. All of the Dainties in this story originate from a home world, not the actual original Dainty home world. That didn't exist when I created this story. It's just a planet that has been populated for Dainties so long they forgot they came from somewhere else. When a Dainty turns 18 years old, they're sent off to spend 1 year on a different planet, where they must find a host or an organism to create a special pair bond with. A pair bond unique to Dainties as a species. They live with the host for a year and then they return back home, if they want to. Hosts can also travel with their Dainties or they can stay back on their home planet. That's the basic structure of the universe and what all of these stories are built off of. But obviously, not every story is going to be the same, and things will deviate wildly from here. So let's get into the characters, starting with those who made Earth their home. Earth is seen as a challenging planet, as Dainties are not known to Earthlings, and humans tend not to react well when they find out about them, so Dainties must disguise their inhuman parts in order to live there. It makes living there difficult, but some Dainties love the added challenge. Meet Mina, short for Andromeda, a dorky bookworm who has been obsessed with the Earth for as long as she knew it existed. She's pretty scatterbrained and didn't think to disguise her spaceship when she landed on Earth, plonking it right in front of exhausted law student Kendra Caustic. Using some sort of baby duck logic, Mina decided that Kendra must be her host and refused to leave her side, just kinda moving herself into Kendra's one-bedroom apartment and being an absolute menace. Kendra is both too exhausted to tell Mina to move out and too exhausted to deal with her, so they navigated life as the bubbly, energetic, and exhausted grump duo for a while. Over time, they bonded. Mina got used to life on Earth and started helping Kendra out, actually relieving her stress instead of maximizing it. And they did eventually form a true host bond. Mina still loves the Earth, it's everything she dreamed of, so when the time came for her to come back to her home planet, she decided she'd rather not, actually. Mina and Kendra still live together today, many years later. In fact, long enough for Mina's little cousin to reach her 18th birthday, and we'll get back to her. There are a few more Dainties who live in the general area by Mina, which is southeastern Wisconsin, because that's where I'm from, so naturally that's the easiest setting for me to write. Unfortunately, her neighbor stories aren't nearly as fleshed out as Mina's, since Mina was my first ever Dainty, so I was really excited to get her. So we'll blitz through the others real quick. These two are Stella and Adria. They're extremely cute and I love them a lot. They're my super bright, colorful, preppy girlfriend and low energy goth girlfriend couple. Adria was literally made for Stella. That was my request when I had her design made. This means that they share a lot of little details, like horse ears, celestial chokers, tattoos, horns, and, of course, rainbows. There's not much to them other than their relationship dynamic, but they're super cute nonetheless. Then we have Valentine. She goes by Val, Tia, Tina, anything you could possibly get as a nickname from the name Valentine. She's an aspiring model and is very sensitive about the fact that she has donkey ears and not rabbit ears because of where she'd like to work eventually. We'll leave it at that. And the final two from this section are actually dainty versions of characters from my webcomic Power Bills, but almost like an AU where they're happy, which is... Ooh, boy, my characters need a break. The dainty AU of Caleb is actually a Caleb post-character arc. In all universes where Caleb exists, he'll be pretty self-conscious and unhappy as a teen. In the AU, it gets even worse when he develops the ability to see ghosts. He spent a long time trying to deny and avoid his power, just wanting to be normal, but eventually, somewhere along the line, presumably mid his coming-of-age journey to the Earth, he realized how damn cool being a medium is, and he started learning the limits of his power. He decided to live on Earth permanently and set up a cozy little shop on the second floor of a building where he does readings and helps people channel spirits. He's content with his life here. The homeworld is too sterile and sci-fi for him, so on Earth, he'll stay. With his host, Guy, of course. In his dainty form, Avery still has his gnarly scar, but rather than being sold into being a human lab rat, he got it because he's into extreme sports and bashed his head on a rock while cliff diving. Just like in Power Pills, his purple eye isn't his original eye. He needed to have it replaced after his original eye, was violently introduced to a rock. He's a lot more confident in his AU form. He's still a gremlin, but he's somehow even more of a gremlin now. He's the age of Mina's cousin and was actually her childhood friend, which means, again, we'll be getting back to Mina's cousin later. One notch up the genre scale, let's go to New York City. I won't lie, this is the story I've developed the least because it took me, no joke, 3 years to get the crossbreed slot I needed to make the main character of this plotline. Crossbreed slots are basically exclusively raffled off, and I have the world's worst raffle luck, so you know. The New York Dainties are a lot more fun and energetic than the Milwaukee crew. They are also pretty underdeveloped, so shout out to Trixie and Cherry, who exist. I'll find a spot in the story once I figure out the story. As for the ones who do have stories, Skylar is Stella's older sister. She lives a pretty modest life in New York with her roommate, who is a chameleon fairy. She's really chill and likes skateboarding, desert plants, punk aesthetics. Also, her hooves have wheels built into them. When I said skateboarding, I mostly meant zipping around on her built-in Heelys. Sammy is my little alien girl. I remember watching a live stream of her design being created and I fell in love instantly. She's ditzy and sweet. Her name is both short for Samantha and Snailmantha, depending on which one you prefer. She's not actually from the dainty homeworld, being from a family with a dainty parent and a non-dainty partner. Nonetheless, she found her way to Earth and decided to stay put in the greatest city in the world. There, that was my lip service to New York. Milwaukee's better. That brings us to Nicole, the character the other characters' stories revolve around. You remember how I mentioned in this world, dainties have to keep their hooves, tails, and ears hidden? Well, Nicole abides by that about 70% of the time. The other 30% she spends stalking through the city and helping rescue people from evildoers. I won't lie, I've become less and less comfortable with superheroes as mini police over time, so the thing she fights will probably be something more inhuman, though I haven't designed the inhuman thing that she fights yet. Nicole doesn't really care for people the way that Spider-Man would. She's here to do the job, make sure the threat is eliminated, and then get out. She got her powers when she was struck by lightning, which caused her Lichtenberg scarring, and either through something that happened to her while she was recovering, or just superhero logic, look up Elektra's original origin story. He literally just got shocked while on a power wire, and that gave him powers. This gave her the ability to control electricity. I haven't designed her superhero costume yet, but she probably has a very Tron-looking outfit, complete with a motorcycle helmet and glowing suit elements. Very cool, very suave. I love female characters who look like they hate me personally. That's why I immediately latched onto Mars when I played Exocolonist. And Tang when I played it a second time. Oh no, I did it twice. So those are the more modern fantasy characters in this story. So let's go back out to space! Everyone meets Cygnus, or Kai. He's Mina's older brother. Kai is older than Mina by a few years and had finished his own 18-year-old pilgrimage, I guess, by the time Mina started hers. And he loved it. Not the planet he went to, but the change of culture. During his journey, Kai discovered a love of astroanthropology and decided he'd do whatever he could to keep exploring the galaxy. He saved up money for his own, I don't know, whatever you'd call the equivalent of a tour bus, but in the form of a spaceship, and found a bunch of dainties just as geeky about space as he was. The crew is a bit more fantasy sci-fi than pure sci-fi, and they have a man for everything you'd need on a journey. Morgan is the ship's navigator. She's great at studying star charts and piloting the ships through harsh terrain. She also has a little bit of magic aptitude, which lets her control more than just whatever 2 items she can hold at once. Morgan is generally pleasant and friendly, but likes to stick to whatever the schedule is at the current moment, and doesn't take well to deviation. Daisy's the biologist of the crew. She has a special focus on malacology and loves finding weird, sluggy creatures on other planets. But with a crew as limited as it is, she's also made sure to study up on other kinds of flora and fauna the crew might want to learn about. She's the most enthusiastic member of the crew, super open to trying new things, even things that the other science-minded crewmates shy away from. Charlie handles negotiations. Whenever the crew visits a planet with a sentient population, she's the one who heads the group to talk to the local officials or find the best hotels to stay at. She's strict, no nonsense, and has a sharp tongue to match. Her happy place is when she's journaling her experiences or making plans for the next adventure. Ursula's a wizard. So sorry, but I just mean that's just kind of what she is. She knows how to deal with all things ancient and maybe cursed. She loves deciphering runes, magical or non-magical, and she has some magic she can use as well. She's bold and loves to play pranks on or tease her crewmates. Giving her magic was not a good idea because she will use it to be a nuisance. Amelia is the group's scout and fighter. She's quick on her feet and can dance around any danger without taking a single hit, so she's always the first one assigned to scope out dubious-looking areas. She's over-enthusiastic and doesn't like to listen to instructions, so she gets in trouble a lot, both with people and with the general dangers that come from exploring alien planets. Finally, there's Cassie, the local eldritch horror. Cassie doesn't really have a role on the ship. She's also not particularly adventurous. She is, however, super mega ultra cursed. Some eldritch being took hold of her when she was young, and the infection is spread throughout her body as she grew older. She doesn't know what it wants because all it seems to do is watch, and watch, and watch. If Cassie stays in one place for too long, floating eyes spawn in around her and just stare. She absolutely hates it and tries to not stop moving for too long. You know where it's impossible to stay in one place? When you're on a spaceship going faster than light speed. Cassie isn't here for the plants, she's here for the time in between, where, for just a little while, she gets a break from being watched by some unknowable horror while still being able to live in relative comfort. No turbulence in space, after all. Wow, okay, yeah, we hit the part where things go from 0 to 100. Hi, Cassie, I love you because your story is so dark, and also I like eye horror. Hey, speaking of eye horror, the eye part isn't actually that relevant to this, but our final collection of dainties today got involved with the cult of Lacrima. So that's a statement that will only cause dread in people who've read my comics, so let me explain. The cult of Lacrima is a commune living in a cave in southeastern Wisconsin. Look, Power Pills is also set in Milwaukee, okay? They're ancient. I don't know how old, but long enough to have carved out a full network of tunnels under the earth. They worship a mysterious gemstone shaped like a tear. This tear has very specific transformational properties. When blood comes into contact with it, a chemical reaction occurs that turns the blood into a contagion. Anyone who comes into physical contact with said blood will begin to transform into a horrific aquatic eye monster. though the transformation almost always stops about 10% of the way through, leaving the affected individual with only their extremities transformed. The cult believes that this transformation elevates them to a higher level of existence from normal humans, and they've formed their worship around rejecting humanity and severing all contact with them in favor of turning into something beyond human. And initiation for outside members requires killing the person you feel the most affection for, both as a show of loyalty and also a way to make the initiate feel like they have nothing to go back to the human world for. This cult was also founded by scientists. There's ancient law that has been twisted and warped from the study journals of the original founders, where they regularly tested the tyr's properties on other living beings. Eventually, through the years, the journal turned into a rule that all new species the cult comes into contact with must have at least one creature transformed by the tyr. This is, by the way, unique to the Dainties species. I'm not certain that aliens are really a thing in the Power Pills universe. Like, I mean, there are some, like, branching stories that have been created by me and other people, but, like, I don't know how relevant it is to them. Enter Lorelei, Lori, and Orchid. Lori is Mina's younger cousin, and upon hearing how much Mina loved living on Earth, chose the Earth as her desired coming-of-age destination as well. Her best friend since childhood, Orchid, decided to come along, not wanting to spend a full year apart from Lori. Was there something sapphic there? Perhaps, knowing what goes on later. Unfortunately, neither of them said anything about their feelings. Double unfortunately, Lori and Orchid's ship crashed while they were trying to land and set them off course into a secluded, wooded area, and the sounds and lights of the crash drew the cult to their location. The two were captured and imprisoned immediately. The cult got to work trying to brainwash the two of them in the hopes they could convince them both to join the cult. However, it turns out that kidnapping two injured people and then not even treating their injuries before trying to induct them into a cult means that neither Lori nor Orchid were very receptive to their brainwashing techniques. This made the cult furious, and one day, they had enough of waiting for them to willingly join. They brought Lori and Orchid into the sacrificial coliseum, gave each of them a knife, placed the tyr in the center of the room, and told them that either one of them will have to kill the other, or the cult would kill the both of them. Orchid was always a gentle soul who couldn't bring herself to fight Lori, but Lori discovered that day that she wanted to live more than she wanted to preserve her own morals. Lori stabbed Orchid and was transformed into her cult form. She cried and apologized to Orchid the entire time she was moving, stabbing Orchid in the chest, and watching her collapse to the floor. After this moment, Lori was brought into the cult fully, released from prison and put to work, and she became a ghost of herself, just drifting from activity to activity, not able to move her mind out of that room or wash the feeling of blood off of her hands. That is, until she started to find allies. She befriended the Blair siblings, consisting of Dustin, who is Mina's age, Savannah, the middle child, and Lily, who is Lori's age. Or, I should really say the Blair siblings befriended her. The Blair siblings were born into the cult and were fully indoctrinated as they grew up. However, as youth are apt to do, they started to see the cruelty in the cult for what it was. Watching the way the cult forced Lori and Orchid to fight to the death was the last straw for them. They wanted out, and they wanted to take Lori with them. As they planned, Lori really opened up. She started to seem more like her old self. The hope of getting out overpowered the overwhelming guilt she'd been feeling for the past year. Lori grew close to the siblings, but especially to Lily. Eventually, Lori and Lily began dating. Lori's love for Orchid and grief over her passing still lingered, but she was able to start moving on from her trauma, and, with the promise of escape on the horizon, she felt she could finally turn a corner. Of course, if escaping a cult were easy, it wouldn't be called a cult. They spent a long time planning their escape, finding other rebels who were helping behind the scenes, getting connected to other escapees, and eventually they managed to get 4 cloaking bracelets that would allow them to disguise themselves as fully human. With a fully human disguise, they'd be able to exist in the real world without the cult being able to identify them on sight. Together, they escaped and started a new life outside of the cult. Lori reconnected with Mina and with her other childhood friend, Avery. Yeah, the Power Pills AU one. Mina was horrified to see and hear what happened to Lori, but she also understood and helped her get the resources she needed to recover. Avery also understood Lori's actions, and the two of them still stayed friends. And, of course, with Caleb the psychic medium as one of Avery's friends, Avery and Lori have been able to conduct seances to talk to Orchid again. Orchid holds no ill will toward Lori. While she personally didn't want to hurt Lori, she's also happy Lori was not only able to survive, but also to escape and thrive after. Getting confirmation of this was a huge burden off Lori's shoulders, and she and Avery hold summonings every Halloween, the time where Orchid is able to fully manifest, and they spend the night hanging out, playing board games, and catching up. I know this was such a dark story, and oh, by the way, they summon Orchid and hang out with her every year is such a cheesy way to end it, but I'm gonna be honest, I love an unambiguously happy ending to such a depressing story, and these OCs aren't going to be used in a comic or anything, so whatever! If I want a tonally dissonant happy ending, I can have a tonally dissonant happy ending. And with that, we've fully explored the universe I just kinda call the modern Daints. The story is really varied, and it's hard to succinctly put a name on the universe, so it's named after the story that fits the first Dainty I ever owned, Mina. I love these characters, and I want to make more videos where I show off my favorite OCs for you all like this, so I hope you liked it! I'll be back soon with one on a story that's even darker than the cult one, so get scared! That one doesn't have a tonally dissonant happy ending. But for now, you know, like, subscribe, comment, do the YouTube things. The links for information on the Dainty species are in the description below if you want to know more. Which of these characters' designs or stories really spoke to you or just is your favorite? There's a lot of love and care put into them, and I'm so curious which one caught your eye. And read more webcomics! And I'll see you next time, bye!